Still up, huh? Wonder who's been playing there.
Surprise!
I've been continuing that for years.
It's just Manaki sitting with the stupid goblin, and it's just like, oh, Ragnar, stupid goblin. Da, da, da.
You could just make an Age of Darkness MMO, where you basically set up a MapTool server and just give everyone connecting GM privileges. That would work out perfectly, I'm sure.
It would just be full of penises everywhere.
Damn.
Knowing the internet.
It's like he knows the internet. Shit. You're too good, Manaki. Too good. Hey, they'd have just as much GMing experience as you had when you were thrust into the campaign.
Fuck yeah! Because it wasn't even supposed to be your campaign. It was supposed to be.
No, I had a player character and everything.
Who was it? I can't remember.
I was gonna play an elven druid.
It was like Ouija or whoever was supposed to be the GM of that, from what I heard.
Ouija was supposed to, yeah.
Well, that one took a sharp turn.
Yeah.
Well, the campaign was called Age of Darkness. It was very, very hard.
I will keep you in the dark by not being your DM.
Surprise!
That's the campaign. Da, 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 da. And I am going to go grab some chocolate milk because we need it.
That's a brilliant idea.
You put it in a bag. Put it in a bag.
Well, when I bought it, I put it in a bag.
Look, that's how you drink chocolate milk. You put it in a bag.
I feel like I'm missing a key component here. I'm just staring at the computer confused.
You might be missing a bag and chocolate milk. You should go get that.
Putting the headset down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes! A confused griffin god. My life is complete. We'll be starting on the Newport map today, because you folks will be starting in Newport. Fucking surprise, I know.
I didn't get a bag.
Well, your loss.
No, I need to Google this.
Well, I intentionally meant it as an absurd joke, but when I was in high school, milk cartons had been phased out for milk bags due to the cheaper cost. So there were numerous occasions where I did drink chocolate milk from a bag that I poked open with a straw.
That just seems
That
hazardous.
is weird.
I know, right? Like water bags and milk bags, I know that they're common, like over in America and Canada, I think. But that concept is just so alien to me.
It was not... I much preferred the milk cartons. The primary change that I can think of that did it was due to easier storage and cheaper cost. The milk bags were not as enjoyable. But it did make for amusing situations where you could just poke it open and then squeeze the bag to gush the milk into your mouth.
It just sounds incredibly inconvenient to actually drink from. Or pour from, for that matter.
Sometimes the straw would not be strong enough to bend, like to pierce through the bag. It would like be like a weak plastic thing and it would like bend and you're like, ah! Bags could rupture, either just due to mishandling or whatever the case might be, and then you'd get like milk all over the other bags.
Oh, I need to get the sticky bag.
Like that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Sounds like you
Surely
could
the
throw them
savings
as,
were
like,
passed on to the
ammunition.
consumer, right?
I don't know. I was a student in a secondary school. I can't tell you.
Secondary school.
Yes, that's what secondary school. It handles our high school. Our high school handles basically the ages between, I'd say, 15 and 18. Or 14 and 17, depending on when you enter the school system.
I'm trying to think how bags can be stacked more conveniently than boxes.
Wouldn't they just like flop around everywhere?
Yeah, like it's a box. it can be packed quite efficiently.
Yeah, well, it's a
Well, yeah, I
carton,
mean-
so it's not like a perfect box. It has like this tapered front, or like the top end. Come on, man. It's not a perfect box. Any rate, as a reminder, you folks acquired a third incremental advance after last session, so if you did not allocate that, now would be the time to do so.
That's a point, Grimith. I should go and do that.
Third, I
You
I think
also
I just got more powers.
you also received a full heal up. So, if you haven't factored that into your token, now would be the time to do so. Of course, that means that any of your item powers that you've expended have recharged as a result. This session is picking up basically after Lord Teraptus gave you those options, then that Google document that I sent you folks last week, and I will link that for the viewers as well, because otherwise they'll be like, "Oh my god, what are these choices? Holy fuck! I want to read. Did I miss something? Did I miss something?"
There will be people that will look at it and go, the fuck? Why did they go? What? Really? They chose fucking that one?
Why didn't they go back to Fockhaven? I mean, come on.
I mean, just, like, seriously, they could have dealt with Arcela, and they could have dealt with our.
But now they got to rest. They could totally take it now.
That's right. Now that they had a full heal up, they have all their powers. They could go back and fucking
they're
wreck
awesome.
shit.
For a little while.
Shit.
Until we've done some stuff, and then we're screwed.
So
We're
there's-
screwed. Ajax appears. He's just the arch druid now. It's like, hey, bud.
Fuck, there was like 3 battles between us and Ajax. Well, I guess we're friendly now.
It's like how in D&D the mood of the players depends on like when you catch them in the day. This is
I mean, it's
great.
very true, right? So, the big guy who just used all his ammo is going to be a lot more friendly than before. Maybe we can actually work something out.
We don't have to come to blows
Well,
over this. Maybe we can reach
Let's not talk about who shot whose friends.
a
I mean, it's
meaningful
basically
compromise.
that's basically what happened like with the Revinger. Right? The second time we met him, we were like, we just fought the pixies and we used all the powers, so
and
yes, he
that's,
lives.
and that's when the Ravenger came out like spitting fire, like, yeah, guys, how about that?
Everything considered, things turned out pretty well for him.
And you guys got paid 150 gold pieces each to walk away
Oh.
and do something you didn't do.
He was not in a position to complain, really.
I am going to take the power.
He got to live.
I'm going to take deflection.
Well, the best payment is for stuff you didn't have to do.
Yes, the best part is stuff that you're gonna do. Deflection, huh?
Once per round, I can use my momentum to turn a melee attack that misses me to a hit on an enemy I'm engaged with.
I do believe you mentioned this last week that you were interested in that. Seeing as how, have you taken any powers things as your incremental advances, Gryph?
No, this would be my incremental for the power.
Okay, and that, you wouldn't be able to take multiples of those so much, but a level 4 rogue does get an extra power known at level 4, so you can just add deflection to the list of powers you already know. So you don't have to replace it with anything.
Sweet!
That's right, deflection, interrupt action, you must spend your momentum. Okay. The attack hits a different enemy you are engaged with instead, but deals only half damage. Okay.
I should have 6 powers, but I only have 5. So if I picked another power, I would have to choose 2 to actually get to the point where I should be. Well, that's inconvenient.
You have 10 minutes.
So,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
so at level 4, I should have 5 powers.
At level 4, you should have 6 powers. Excuse me, let me check that again. You should look at your advanced chart. I have already looked away and forgotten.
I think you might be right, because I have 5 already.
Yes, you would have 6.
Cool. I was just sitting there for a second thinking, fuck, did I fuck up something really bad? Shit!
Commanders at level 4 have a total of 7 commands and tactics. So, yes, you would have an extra one if you took an incremental advance at level 3.
Yeah, right now I have only 5, so I should get an extra one regardless, because apparently I'm blind and
yes,
stupid.
You've been
and
operating
forgot.
under your level 2 rules. And whenever I reviewed your character sheet when you sent it in for level 3, I didn't notice that. Granted, I also didn't notice the fact that the Druid had 90,000 bajillion spells, but...
You know, we all make mistakes.
How are we gonna make do without those now? Now everything is scaled for him to have that.
I actually have 7 powers.
Oh, because, yes, you would
Thief
have...
strike!
Yes, that because of your class talent, I believe that gives you that, or is it a feat?
It's feat that I chose, because I chose it as my talent. And yeah, so I chose it as my talent, so I gain it as a power.
Yeah, the talent gives you background points, and then the feat gives you the power.
Yes, that would be a bonus power that doesn't count to your allocation of powers. So you would have, with your incremental advance, 6 powers plus that. You have 8 minutes.
I got it sorted. I'm done.
Low power plebs.
It's good. I will make sure to stare heartily at those sections whenever you pull up your powers. Just so I understand what's going on.
Cool. Apparently the viewers understand my powers better than me, so, you know.
Better than me, too. I didn't read the Skype group chat whenever I got back from work. Was there anything in there that was a question for me today?
No. Well, nothing for me.
I
don't think so.
Okay, just making sure.
So do I take a power, or do I take +1 to skills?
Is that even a question?
Manakai's like, is that even a question?
You know, I have seriously considered this the +1 on skills.
Another force salvo or skills.
Well, the point is that most of us can't re-pick our daily powers.
No, I can only have 2 of them as well, but...
I mean, most of the things I could pick for powers don't really seem that... I guess charge might be useful.
You guys get dailies. I get situational.
Yeah, I have, like... I have recharge things, which are, like, you know, pseudo-dailies.
Like, I think my daily is my protection ring. That's my daily.
Make sure you make use out of those magic items, by the way.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I know that.
To be fair, I've not been hit in a range that allows me to use my protection ring.
What do you even have, sheep?
I have that, like, ring of defense.
Protection that boosts my AC by 2 for until the end of my next turn.
Yes.
And I can use it as a shield action.
The ring that you took from Almarune, which I will go ahead and note again right there.
Yeah, I have it in my character sheet, but I keep forgetting. It's so good, too. It's ridiculous.
Yes. Can think of how much damage you took while fighting the
know.
damn, you know, that session.
Yeah, after that comment, I was basically like, fuck, I had that ring, didn't I? I didn't have to go down,
That's
but
right,
it
you
was
didn't.
too late to retcon anything.
You're just so stubborn. That's what it is. Thomas is like, I'm not gonna use the ring. You can't make me.
I don't need it.
Look at me.
I don't rely on your magic, he says while fainting. I mean, I'm very confused. I have I have more macros than I have powers chosen, which is correct, but I don't know why What? Help.
I don't know how to help you, sheep.
I don't know either.
This got dark
Oh,
really
okay.
fast.
Yeah, I figured out which 2 powers I hadn't I had macros for but hadn't picked.
Were you just like trying to decide between them, and so you made macros for all of them, or what?
No, I have had them picked in the past, which is why I have macros for them, but I have decided to not pick them again.
Okay.
And I don't even... I mean, I should probably take the one that lets me let people pop free from things again.
You had lamented before, like, not having that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I know you're going to have it, but not use it.
But then I also would like to feed for it.
Actually, I'm just wondering.
What's up?
I haven't taken a cut of money in a while.
I gave a huge amount of money last session.
I didn't. What was the money last session?
Let me go into my notes.
I genuinely, last session, that's it. I'm not going back further.
You haven't been adding your money to your character sheet?
Yeah, Tempus apparently does not care about money. He is an incredibly altruistic person who donates his funds to charity.
Why haven't we given him any?
It was divided last session! You were all here for it!
Man, we should just take his loot. I guess he himself voted for machines don't get paid.
You know.
Gryph, I sent you a Skype PM. There you go.
Yeah. And
The
you
PM
can,
is I take all his damn money.
and you can take care of purchasing things.
Oh, wow.
You can take care of purchasing things during the session.
I hadn't split money in a few sessions, Gryph, so...
Okay.
Did I get money? I have money.
I have a lot of money too.
I don't know how much money I have. I need to check.
But surely you're not going to use potions inside like a dungeon, right?
Well, you say that.
Well, the
Oh,
question
but already
is, should I buy anything except like 8 potions?
Okie dokie, class. Let's begin session 10 of our 13th Age campaign. This week I'll ask for volunteers. Who would like to do a recap? Manaki has an excuse. He did it last session.
I did.
Oh, I did it before that.
Oh, shit. Well, I guess that leaves either me or Dark. Dark, rock, paper, scissors. I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay. The crew left off last session deciding, you know what? We'll get on a motherfucking boat. We're getting out of here. So we went down to the docks, met up with a guy who says, you know what? You can leave. It'll cost you a bit of money each. Or, you know, we can leave now. It'll cost more. And Dwohurim's like, fuck it, I'm paid. We're getting out of here now. Here's all the gold. And the rest of the party's like, well, you know, obviously I would agree with them, you know, but only after he's decided. So we all piled on the boat and we went on our way. Some of us suspicious that a kraken would emerge, and others suspicious that a sahuagin would emerge. You know, just some suspicion, but happily none of that occurred, and we were able to get to Newport without any hugely disastrous events occurring on the boat. And we arrived at Newport. We got some information over what areas of the city in Newport, the lovely, bustling, and heavily manned, the docks that spanned for miles, and hundreds upon hundreds of people, you know, a population stemming into the tens of thousands of people. Quite a dense population as well, mostly human, but an assortment and a spattering of other people. You know, it's a very multi-race, you know, multi-species as well, actually, city. But as we went in and we were having a wander around, a lot of us decided, you know, where the first points of calls we should make? The pub. So we stemmed to the pub and figured, you know, that's where we'd get ideas of how to hunt dragons and get their loot, you know, chase down the horde, figure out where it came from. And where we conversed with an adventuring lady with axes and bows and scars and all other manner of arms. It was quite a very well-armed individual for the inside of a pub. You know, a little bit intimidating, but hey, you know, at least it pointed out to us. So we talked to her and hired her to show us where the dragon's hoard. Conveniently, she knew exactly where it was. It was a few days away. It cost us a fair bit of money. It was approximately about 20 gold pieces each to get there. And, of course, we went there and, you know, just before we got in, she's like, whoa, you guys, you're on your own unless you're going to pay me to help you. And we're like, nah, we're good. So She left us, and we wandered in, and we found the cave, and it had been raided. There was gold coins scattered amongst the place, some silver, some copper, nothing huge, and a strange altar. And as we delved a bit further in, a lot of cackling emerged, a lot of hideous cackling, and we were ambushed by these red-capped monsters. And they kept swarming at us, attacking us and stabbing us. Every so often would disappear and reappear a couple of turns later. And just as the battle was starting to turn in our favour, the adventurer appeared. And initially we were suspicious whether she'd be there to help us or rob us. It was an equal 50-50. It seemed a bit too convenient that she'd appear just as things were starting to turn. And she shot us, which decided in our head, we need to deal with her now. And, we did, but unfortunately, she was able to get away and escape using an amulet. And to places unknown. After tidying up the remains of the Redcaps, two of them wanted to parlay, their lives for information, of which one of their information was to Leon, he's not living, and then disappeared. The other points to Tempus and goes, you're not alone, and disappeared. Enough was said to daze both party members. After scavenging up the loot and heading back to Newport, a lot more heavily wounded and not as heavily burdened with loot as they would like, headed to Newport and hunted down Lord Teraptus. Upon going to Lord Teraptus and conversing with him, sharing all of the information of what we had discovered in Foghaven and the Cold War scenario between the undead necromancer, or the undead lich even, as opposed to the living lich. Sometimes my brain worries me, but going on. And the druid Ajax and how it was just escalating and escalating further and further. Lord Teraptus listened to us and decided to give us 5 options of things to do. To give us goals and targets to aim for. The first, I stopped briefly because Skype decided to just stop voicing. I didn't hear the familiar static in my ears.
Neither did I.
Okay, but we're all back. So you got the part where I said Drakenhall, right?
No. I didn't hear any of the suggestions.
No, I just said Drakenhall. That's like literally where it stopped.
I didn't hear that part. Well, there we go. I'm aware of that part now.
So the first option that was given to us was Drakenhall. To head to a city full of the monsters and evil entities of the world, ruled by the Blue, one of the 3 evil dragons. Perhaps 4, seeing as the fact that we're hearing a lot of the 4. And of course the Lady Adventurer did say for the 4, or similar words. Suspicious much? While there was not much information about Drakenhall, it would be the most profitable for information, but we would have very little to start us. The second option, the next option was Foghaven, to return from whence we came, to find out if we can either solve the situation by any means. The third option was to root out some no-do-gooders in Newport itself, to hunt down some entities and spies that had been causing havoc and trouble. The next option was to head to Cape Thunder to help the Wall. I say the Wall is actually to help against the sea of evil entities, to head out to see how we could stop the ever-going and endless onslaught of monsters, Sahagin, and all other types of monstrosities that are continuing to invade our world. And the fifth option, to explore a living dungeon for a relic item called the Orb of Storms. It might be in the dungeon, it might not be, but it's popped up and it could be causing some trouble. What did the adventurers decide? Well, you can find out in a few seconds.
Yes, the session will pick up after Lord Teraptus has delivered his options to you, and he's remained behind his desk, staring out the window, sipping his potent beverage, which he has consumed a bit of in his delivery of the suggestions. This old, frayed, wizened stage. Incredibly old and tired, but He's holding it together, and perhaps you could hope to hold it together as much as he is whenever you're that old. Anyway, you've been given as much freedom to discuss the situation amongst yourselves. You've certainly done it a lot out of character. We can go from here wherever you'd like.
I think a lot of it was done out of character just to figure out what we'd like to do.
So if you want to discuss it in character, that's fine. If you just want to wrap it up, that's fine too, and tell Teraptus what you want to do.
Tempus will sort of lean back after hearing the options and going, I quite like the idea of this orb. Go down a dungeon, see what treasure we can get. Sounds like fun. It's a hell of a lot easier than what we've figured out so far, and a lot less politics.
That can be agreed on, I suppose, and I don't really want to be back on a boat just yet.
It's on an island. You know that, right?
Well, not as long as the boat travel, at least.
Lord Teraptus chuckles.
Hear him? What about you then?
Looks to you. The resident says, well, as long as you don't go back to Foghaven. Either of these options could be valuable. I would. What do you think?
Tempus will look at
It
Fargus.
seems that the orb would be the one that has the least investment of time. Perhaps something we should attempt before moving on with one of the others.
Fargus says, I agree. I think the Orb of Storms is the closest objective, and I think it would be the fastest one to achieve.
That's a lot of sense you've been speaking, Fargus. It's not like you.
Fargus frowns.
Well, that seems 5 for 5.
Shrugs.
What a good discussion this was.
Besides, if we do find the orb, I wouldn't mind taking a look at it.
From here, Lord Teraptus will recommend that you stay in the city of Newport for another night. That way, if you have anything to take care of, like, you're obviously going to have to secure transportation. You might want to look into, like, getting more information about the Living Dungeon of Creel, that sort of matter. And this is where, don't worry, everyone. I haven't forgotten your icon relationship dice. We'll tackle all those lovely 6s and 5s you rolled last week. This is where Gryph's Archmage result of 5 will kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Teraptus, he's in such a benevolent mood, and he is interested in the success of Tempus Malleator. He finds him a favorable assistant to the Archmage's plans. Lord Teraptus offers to fund the expedition by paying the party 200 gold pieces each now, plus transportation to the island if the party delivers the Orb of Storms to him. Now, that's not a decision you have to make right now. In fact, he encourages you to, as he did, with you coming in for these decisions, rest up, explore the city, come back tomorrow if you're with that, because there's going to be other things as well from your other icon relationship dice.
So he wants to pay us 200-something gold pieces for an incredibly powerful, priceless artifact.
A total of 1,000 gold pieces. 200
Oh, all
each.
right. Okay.
He is the Archmage. A lot of us follow the Archmage.
Well, he's not the Archmage. He's a representative of the
follower.
Archmage. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, that's kind of what I meant, yeah. A lot of us have positive relationships with the Archmage. 200 gold, sounds good. But as I said, we can always go and do our shopping and figure it out.
Let's go and see. Maybe there's other offers.
Yes.
As we go around going, we're going to go get the Orb of Storms. What are you going to do?
So what if it's not there?
Well, then we know it's not there. That's
Do we get
also
paid
good, I
still
suppose.
or not?
Lord Teraptus is offering you this money before you go. Like, this is getting paid to you before you even leave.
Dude, I think part of it is he did say the information is beneficial to him to know it's not there.
Yes.
As well as the fact we're eliminating a living dungeon.
Like Lord Teraptus, like, so long as, you come to him and he thinks that you're fucking truthful and not lying to him about, the Orb of Storms, he'll be fine.
He's offering this to a fucking thief?
Surrounded by non-thieves.
Not all of you are liars. Don't you dare try to cross Lord Teraptus. He will smite you. You see the power that Dwohurim Harsca wears? Or wields?
No, I just love that. It's a case of, this is a known thief. He is known as a thief.
That's right, and it's your icon relationship die that triggered this.
Oh, shit.